discussing the mask policy on the Hyde Park campus. So the mask policy was put in place back in August of 2019 to discuss or to have the students here at the Hyde Park campus follow a very strict guideline of how to stay COVID safe. The whole goal of the CIA Safe Plan is to make sure that we keep our quarantine numbers down, COVID cases numbers down, and to make sure that everyone stays safe and that we didn't catch COVID, which was the goal. Some of the rules were making sure we wore face shields in kitchens or hands-on classrooms, such as wines or spirits and mixology, making sure that we had our masks on at all times, regardless if you were indoors or outdoors, making sure that we stayed 6 feet apart when appropriate, so standing in line for meals at any of the production kitchens. 6 feet is kind of hard in a kitchen due to the fact that the kitchens are kind of small and people kind of have to stay close. Making sure that we had 2 people in a car at all time, making sure that we wash our hands every 30 minutes, and making sure we have the proper PPE, and making sure that we were staying safe and making sure that we stayed COVID safe. Those are some of the CIA Safe Plan rules that were put in place, as some were dropped recently due to the fact that our vaccination numbers are at 70% for the Hyde Park campus versus the San Antonio and St. Helene Napa Valley campus as well. I'm going to be asking some of my roommates some questions about what they think about the mask policy on campus.
Overall, it really just depends on the individual, not necessarily the class or grade that you're in. I think it genuinely just depends on how serious you are about the COVID policy and whether you want to stay safe. I don't think it really matters on age or, how long you've been here. It just really depends on how much you care about your own health and safety and your peers' health and safety. It definitely does matter where you come from or, where your family lives, because, for example, my sister was studying in North Carolina where there was no commercials or advertisements or anything, warning against COVID-19 or staying safe by wearing masks. And then when she came back up to the Northeast and, we were watching TV one day, she just goes, "Oh my gosh, they actually care here. There's actually commercials and, things informing you about COVID safety." And, down in North Carolina, no one was really wearing masks, no one really cared, so it was almost like a total 180 for her to actually see that people cared and that there were advertisements and everything encouraging people to stay safe and wear masks. It definitely has. It makes it a lot harder to interact and meet new people because, there's used to be the face masks and the face shields, and it's kind of like I'm too stressed and busy sweating in that to actually be able to focus on meeting my peers. And it's also harder to hear each other, so you're less likely to start conversation or actually get to know people because you're too busy dealing with all of the PPE and other things like that. I believe that overall students do a good job of following the rules, but there, of course, as always, are a few exceptions. I think that where we are right now, we're doing a good job of, maintaining the mask policy as much as we can. It's just important to remember that, there's no way to really check if students are vaccinated or not, and that's where the biggest issue lies right now for controlling spread of COVID.
Victoria explained those questions extremely well, but I would like to elaborate on a few questions that I would like to answer myself in terms of the mask policy on campus. So now that some of the mask policies or CIA Safe Plan policies have been lifted, we've been seeing a lot more students getting out and about, socializing and being around their friends. But in terms of that, we've been seeing a lot of people without masks on walking around campus. Even though it is an honor system to make sure that you do wear your mask if you are not vaccinated versus wearing a mask if you are fully vaccinated, there is no way to recognize or acknowledge who is not vaccinated or who is vaccinated. I feel like the school is doing more of a we hope that you're being honest system, so the honest system in a sense, but we are seeing some COVID cases happening or popping up in this semester. I did have a friend who was just put into quarantine due to a COVID case in his class, which is kind of nerve-wracking in a sense because we should be well past the point of worrying about will there be a COVID case. Another thing that I feel like needs to be kind of put in place is coming back in fall of 2021. I feel like there is going to be a fine line between identifying who is vaccinated and who is not vaccinated. You do have all these freshmen coming in, they're so excited to be here, so excited to get in class, but I feel like there is going to be a very fine line between who is vaccinated and who is not, because we all know freshmen, they do like to go out and about and they like to meet and socialize and have parties and things like that, but you're not going to know who is vaccinated or who is not. So I feel like in a sense it's either everyone coming in has to be fully vaccinated or have in a sense a system to show that you are vaccinated by doing a wristband or having a bracelet of some sort saying like, I don't know, it's colored or has, V for vaccinated or NV for non-vaccinated. I mean, this is a very controversial debate, so sometimes you don't fully know, and sometimes the school doesn't want to do like a segregation system of like, you aren't, you are, so here's the rules for you or here's the rules for you. It is not fair, but there is a question that did spark my eye in the list of questions that I did collaborate on. One of them being, were there anti-maskers when we came in back in August of 2020? My roommate that I had when we came back for the fall of 2020 semester was very big about, I didn't want to wear my mask, I think this mask is stupid or anything like that. She's from Florida, so it does make a little bit of sense. Florida was kind of like, I don't know, not wearing masks or not being COVID safe. So she did make some sense because she's used to walking out and about without a mask on, where I come from New Jersey, where the mask mandate was put into place 2 weeks after a state shutdown. Even though I can still talk about this is one of my probably favorite topics to talk about because it is such a broad topic to talk about. And a lot of people have different opinions and different views on this mask policy or the CIA Safe Plan, as all of us know it here at the Hyde Park campus. I'm going to wrap it up just so I'm not rambling, but this is a really good topic to talk about, and COVID is still a thing. We're still in a pandemic, but is a little bit of a lightened up pandemic since where we were in March of 2020 when we all had to pack up our stuff and go home.